it's not just clothing that comes in and out of fashion, food does as well. And though cottage cheese in some iteration has been around for hundreds of years, it probably reached its peak of popularity in the 70s as the diet crazy kind of food. Well, cottage cheese has made a resurgence, and hey, I am here for it. There are all kinds of viral cottage cheese recipes, and I've been using cottage cheese for a long, long time. I didn't really jump on the cottage cheese with the Jell-O kind of thing. Never really got there. But I've had cottage cheese a lot, and in the 80s, I ate it all the time. Well, it is right up there with Greek yogurt in my books these days. Maybe a month or so ago, I did a video featuring Greek yogurt. And what I want to do is I want to start a series of recipe days where I use one ingredient as the star of the show and show you how you can use that particular ingredient in so many different ways. So that said, welcome to the cottage cheese video. What I want to start with is a cottage cheese wrap. And wraps are all the rage because guess what? They're so versatile. So the wrap itself, although amazing, no carb, high protein, no fat, it's what you do with that wrap. Now you've probably seen these recipes on shorts or on reels and Instagram, but so let's just start with that basic thing. All you need is some cottage cheese. Now, various recipes use full eggs, egg whites, with flour, without flour. I'm gonna just use cottage cheese with egg white, and then we're gonna spice it up. So I've got a cup of cottage cheese. If you're just making it for yourself, you can use even a quarter of a cup. That might even do for you. And then if you're using a quarter of a cup, you only need 1 egg white. So I've got a full cup, so we're gonna times that by 4, and I've got now 4 egg whites. So we're gonna put that into the food processor. And you can sort of let your imagination go wild. I'm just going to use Italian seasoning. I guess my imagination isn't too wild today. Another thing that I've tried is I have this maple bacon flavor, which is good. If you decide to put an egg on top, you kind of got a bacon and egg kind of thing going on. So we're just going to go with sprinkling in some Italian seasoning. There's no set recipe, guys. Just go for it. Some fresh ground pepper. I find you do not need extra salt because there is, you know, not a bad amount of sodium already, about 130 grams per half cup in the cottage cheese. So, you know, just back off on the sodium. Plus there is salt in the Italian seasoning. So that's all you need to do there. And then we just gotta whirl it up. I want to tell you that this step is optional because you don't have to get all the lumps and bumps out if you don't want to, because those are really good too. So you can just mix up the egg white with the cottage cheese and all the lumps and bumps, and it's perfectly good. In fact, I made that earlier today. While you're doing this, preheat your oven to 400 degrees, and you can just pour on your own little wrap size. Now you can decide, you could do like the whole pan, or you can do kind of pancake size ones. That's what I'm gonna do. In they go for 20 minutes. Now you get to decide what you're going to put it on them. You can just do a fried egg, you could grab some avocado, you could put some tomatoes or cucumbers or whatever you feel like. But you know what? I'm kind of feeling like maybe I'm going to turn those into tacos. So let's make a little taco filling while those are cooking. So I'm going to make a really simple taco filling. I'm going to be using the vegetarian ground round. It's already cooked. You don't even have to heat it up. And typically you can buy the Mexican ones already mixed or Italian ones. They only had the plain. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put on a pan, I'm gonna add a little bit of chili powder, a little bit of smoked paprika, a tiny bit of cayenne, and I can set that aside. You could even mix that up, have it in the fridge. Then if you decide to make your wraps, wanna use some of that, it's already ready. And simple, 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 and that's the way that we wanna keep it. If you wanted to keep this as a workday lunch, keep them separate, put your wrap in one container, put your filling in the separate one, and then bring it together at lunchtime. Okay, well, we might have to cut these into circles because I got a little overzealous. All right, so here we've got our wraps. So as I said, we're gonna put this one, we're gonna make it into tacos. My cameraman says that he's starving, so we'll make this one for him. So we'll take our wrap, we will put our seasoned meat. You can use ground turkey, ground beef, whatever you like. And I've got a little bit of jalapeno and some cilantro. I'm going to put in some avocado. and some salsa. So you can see how these wraps are so versatile. So light, really, really tasty. Now, if you decide not to use individual circles made into wraps, you could always make a big giant one. And of course, when I see a big giant round one, I immediately think pizza. And why not? I've made this round one, and I am gonna make a pizza. So I'm gonna add some pizza sauce, whatever toppings you like. You've got now a carb-free, high-protein crust that's not gonna be really crispy crusty, but it is gonna be like pizza. Okay, so the crust is not crispy crust. It's still delicious. And you've got all the pizza flavor without all the pizza carb crust. And you know exactly what's in here. Just egg white and cottage cheese. It wasn't very long ago that wherever you went for brunch, you were definitely going to find avocado toast. And I don't think that's going anywhere soon because really, it's pretty delicious. But what's new on the scene? Cottage cheese toast. And you can do anything and everything with it. And if you love burrata, like my two girls, really you're replacing cottage cheese for the burrata in everything. So the cottage cheese toast that I'm gonna make is the one that my girls make all the time. So it's really bruschetta inspired with the cottage cheese replacing the burrata, and we'll make a very simple bruschetta on top. And here we go. I've got a few tomatoes, I've got some fresh basil, I've got some chopped onion, and I'll put in some garlic and a little bit of olive oil, and that's gonna be it. So let's just pop some tomatoes in there and our onions. Chopped a little bit of basil. I'm gonna have a little bit more on top. A nice little splash of olive oil. I'm gonna use garlic powder just because the raw garlic, you know what, if you're having this for breakfast, we're gonna top it off with some balsamic glaze. Make sure you use nice quality bread, whole grain, or I've got this really nice fresh sourdough. We're just gonna put our cottage cheese on top. One word about the cottage cheese that I would like to mention. I don't mind going with 0% Greek yogurt because of the consistency. It's really thick and good. However, what I do find with cottage cheese, I would prefer to go with the 2%, just a little bit more fat, but I find that the 1%, really, it's just watery. It's just kind of pouring all over the place. So you know what? For me, it really does make a difference. Take the 2%, it's a little bit thicker, a little bit richer, and a whole lot better. I'll just use my balsamic glaze. A little bit of that. And top that with a few more leaves of fresh basil. And move over avocado because here comes cottage cheese toast. I'm a mess here, but boy, is that good. Next up, ice cream. I think that cottage cheese lends itself to making your own ice cream better than Greek yogurt because it doesn't have that tang and it really takes on whatever flavor you decide to put in it. And this is so simple that it's almost comical. All you need is 1 container of cottage cheese, a sweetener of your choice, honey or maple syrup or a stevia type thing like that, and then you get to go wild. You can choose any flavor combination. You can use frozen berries, you can use fresh berries, you can use jam, you can use Paul's choice, which right now is going to be peanut butter banana and chocolate chips. And just because I wanted to show you another one, I did my choice earlier today and I made lemon with some ginger snap crumble. We'll take a look at that in a minute. 1 container, 500 mils of cottage cheese. Again, I'm using the 2%. I'm gonna add in just a dash. Now, I don't think that we need too much sugar in this thing because, so I'm going to even just say maybe a tablespoon is plenty. Then a good helping, maybe a tablespoon and a half or so of peanut butter will be good. And I'm going to add in a banana. There we go. We're going to give that a whirl, and then we'll fold in some chocolate chips. So take a look at what a nice consistency this is already. And I'm just going to fold in, I don't know, a tablespoon or two maybe of chocolate chips. We'll put in a few more chocolate chips. You're going to need to freeze this for 3 or 4 hours, but when you want to serve it, you're going to have to take it back out of the freezer and let it come back to room temperature for a good 10 minutes because it'll be way too hard otherwise. We're going to see how long this lasts at my house. This one I'm putting into the freezer. This one I made this morning. All right, so let's dig into the one that I made earlier. So for this one, I'll show you the highlights on the side. I just did the same, the cottage cheese, a little bit of honey. I did some lemon rind, some lemon juice. I folded in a crumpled up ginger snap. And here we go. A little bit icy, maybe thawed a little bit longer, probably closer to 20 to 30 minutes, but it's very, very good. It doesn't have that same tang which I do like for the Greek yogurt, but it's really nice. And you can truly use your imagination and put in anything that you like. Really great macros and a great treat if you're looking for a nice dessert. Okay guys, we are going to do this together. What I'm going to make now is something I have seen over and over again. I have never made it, and that is very unlike me because I usually test everything before I show you, or it's something that I've made a gazillion times, so I already know how it's going to come out. But this one we are doing together. I've got this off of a website, and I'll show you. I'll give you the link, skinnytaste.com, and we're making protein bagels with cottage cheese. There's only 4 ingredients, and it says it's super easy. With baking, as you know, it's a science, not an art. And I guess I'm an artist. So here we go, and we're gonna be doubling her recipe so that we're gonna come out with 8 bagels altogether. And all we need is flour, baking powder, salt, and the cottage cheese. The key to the cottage cheese is you must drain it so that it takes out all the excess moisture, all the excess whey. So I'm going to grab that from the fridge. I put that in way earlier today. Get that? Way earlier. And we're going to mix it up and we're going to see how we go. So 2 cups of flour into our bowl. So for 1 order, it's 2 teaspoons. So I'm going to use 4 because I've doubled it here. So we've got our flour and we've got our baking powder. Make sure it's fresh, not expired. That's in the recipe. And then we're going to add in 3/4 of a teaspoon of the salt. So that would be 1.5 teaspoons, and I'm going to double it. And then it says whisk together very well. So observe me whisking. So I just want to show you guys this. If you're doing this single making 4, you use 1 cup. So I'm using 2 cups or the full container of the cottage cheese. And I put that into a strainer with some coffee filters, and the excess whey has come out in the bottom, and the rest is soaked into those coffee filters. So I've got to dump that in. So this is good and thick now. Okay, so I'm supposed to use a spatula and mix together till it looks like small crumbles. Now I'm supposed to knead it together for about 2 minutes. It will be smooth, but a little bit tacky. Okay guys, I think I'm good. It says it's sticky, a little bit tacky, but it doesn't really come away on my hands. That seems right. So now I have to divide it into 8 balls. I ended up with 7 balls, okay? I think that's gonna be fine. So you either can roll it out into a cylinder and then bring it around to form a bagel, or you can make the circle and poke a hole in it and kind of stretch it into a bagel. We're down to the egg washing, both sides, and then I've got everything bagel seasoning, and I'm gonna dip it in that. Whoa! Oh, now it looks like a bagel. It's so cute. I'm going to put them into the air fryer. You can also do it into your oven. Into the air fryer, 280 degrees, 15 to 16 minutes, no need to turn. If you're putting it in your oven, it's at 375 for 15 minutes. And it's very precise about cooling, not cutting before we cool, but we aren't there yet. So we'll wait a few minutes. Ooh. Okay, guys. Wow, they grew. Okay, it says vitally important. Do not touch, cut, or do anything for a good 15 minutes. They said this is a must-do step. So let's not rock the boat, and we won't check those for 15 minutes. All right, here they are, and they look pretty good. I have learned a couple of things that I will make changes the next time. Number one being make the hole bigger, but still, they do look pretty delicious. And the macros are 164 calories per. I think that mine will be very, very slightly more because mine should have made 8, but I've only made 7, so slightly higher. And 9 grams of protein, so maybe these ones will be 10. Wow! Okay, looks really good. So much lighter and fluffier than I thought. You know what? When I saw them and all I just really saw was the cottage cheese, I did not think they were going to come out like this. These are really delicious. So good. They did take me longer to cook than the 15 to 16, and maybe it's because I potentially overcrowded the basket. But I think they came out really well in the end. So these are definitely a must-do again. I'll link the recipe to skinnytaste.com in my description. Give these a try. Really, honestly, they're really, really good. I just took out of the freezer the second of the ice creams that I made. So you saw the other one, how I had to defrost it for a while. So this one's only been in the freezer for maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours. And you'd see the consistency of that, which is really nice. This is like a full day of eating for me. All I've done all day is eat. Wow. I don't even like ice cream. This tastes really great. You guys have to try this. It's so simple and so good. You'll make it over and over again. I hope that you have had a really good time cooking with me today with a whole lot of cottage cheese, and it's been amazing. So if you haven't tried cottage cheese before, or it's not something that's typically in your diet, there is so many different ways that you can use it, and I hope that this video has given you a few ideas of different ways that you can use it. And let's see what we're going to try and cook with next month. Give me some ideas of what you would like to see me cooking with as my center ingredient in a variety of different recipes. Hope you've really enjoyed the video. I had a lot of fun today, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Another great place that a dollop of cottage cheese never hurt is on leftover pizza. I always find that with pizza, it's like, you're just not getting enough protein. I always order chicken on mine, but it's just not enough. So I add some cottage cheese, and don't knock it till you try it. It's really, really good. Ups the protein, tastes really delicious. My latest is chicken, spinach, and red onions on pizza. I kind of have this 3-topping limit, whereas Paul, he could put everything on. It's like a slosh fest. I can't stand it. What do you think? What do you guys get on your pizza, and what do you think the topping limit should be? Let me know in the comments.